Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back into another episode of the North American Association of Cerebral Palsy Advocates Chatline. My name, of course, is Caleb Wells. I am once again joined by my friend and partner in crime, Tanner Lynn. How are you today, Tanner?
Oh, I'm just great today. Just a beautiful day here in the Midwest.
It is a great day here in the Midwest, where we had a lot of technical difficulties trying to get into our recording here today. But apparently that's all behind us. So if it looks terrible on YouTube, we apologize in advance. So we wanted to come on today because next week marks a big anniversary. And now that I'm thinking about this, now that we're actually talking about it, is our anniversary would actually fall on a day that we were recording a podcast, but I don't really care. So the North American Association of Cerebral Palsy Advocates is turning 3 this year, which means we're officially a toddler. We've gotten out of our terrible 2s. We're going to be 3 years old. And we wanted to come on today just to kind of outline our mission and our goals for the next year, as well as looking back on those first 3 years of operation that we had as we go into a great 2023-2024 operations year. Tanner, I'm going to throw it back to you. How do you want to start this episode on your end?
Well, as some of you know, if you've been following this association throughout the whole process, we are now 3, and it's crazy to me that we've made it this far. This was just a COVID idea that Caleb had, and I feel that we've gone above and beyond our mission of being a place for adults with CP to meet and connect with other people with CP.
You curled that one right to the button for me. Thank you for that.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. Holy cow, I made a curling joke. I apologize. But yes, that is what we're here for. I do want to give a shout out to somebody. I would be remiss if I didn't mention them in this space, but Melissa Bishop, who co-founded the group with me, is no longer a part of the group. She left for personal and health reasons. So, Melissa, if you're listening to this, we hope that you're doing great. And thank you for believing in me, because Melissa was the first person who truly believed in this crazy, stupid idea. And like you alluded to in your nice little intro there of our association, it was one of my crazy cabin fever association moments in quarantine, right? It was a cabin fever idea, which we've coined association moments now, because every crazy quarantine idea that I've had in some way or another has manifested itself in these last 3 years. So it started out pretty innocently. I was on Facebook one day, like everybody during the pandemic. I wasn't a TikTok person. I had TikTok for the sole reason to watch dogs carry eggs in their mouth, because a student showed that to me like right before the pandemic, and I got fascinated by this trend of dogs carrying eggs in their mouth. But I'm getting a little off topic. I had joined a lot of Facebook groups for individuals with disabilities. And it became a place where a lot of people were just complaining and had no true resolutions to their problems. It was just keyboard warriors saying, oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be great, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, which is not really what we needed at that time, as we were entering in this space of a complete unknown. Life before February of 2020 and life after are two completely different things. And it's easy to say that with retrospect, that that's not what we needed in the country. But I truly felt that in the moment, and Melissa felt that as well. So Melissa and I met through another Facebook group that is no longer in existence because they had their own issues. And we became fast friends. It was pretty much an overnight friendship that Melissa and I had. And I got kicked out of the Facebook group for saying something along the lines of, it would be nice to get together over Zoom or in person for like some kind of face-to-face interaction. The owner of that Facebook group did not like that answer. So she kicked me out of the group. And in my crazy mind, I had one very, very, very obvious solution, which was if nobody's going to do it, why not me? So through my conversations with Melissa, we decided that we wanted it to be focused in on specifically people with cerebral palsy. Because despite being the most commonly diagnosed disability in the world, most commonly diagnosed physical disability in the world, there were very little support groups or very little places and spaces for us to have our voices heard. So what we did, and to Melissa's credit, she had a lot of friends with cerebral palsy. We basically just started texting everyone we knew with cerebral palsy. We're like, would you be interested in doing this? And we sent them a Zoom link. And we met for 2 hours on a Tuesday afternoon, which is a dumb time to hold a meeting. We met at 3:30 Central Time on a Tuesday afternoon in June. And we had 6 people show up. And those 6 people really bought into what we were doing and started to believe in my mission and what eventually became Melissa's mission of what the outlook and tone of this group should be. And so as a group, we sat down and wrote a group constitution, which basically laid out our 3 principles that we wanted to focus on, which was support, create, and advocate. I thought it was fun because it rhymed. And so through this document, we found a lot of things. We first wanted to create a space. And that was very simple to me. It was very natural. I felt like I knew these people for years. Some of these people that I had just met the night before through a text message. And so it took off from there and it flew from there. And here we are 3 years later.
Yes.
the next thing we wanted to do was support each other through endeavors and understand that typical everyday tasks were made tougher by these challenges presented by cerebral palsy. And none of us really knew what we were doing with the pandemic. At first, we just wanted to meet once a month. And then that became, let's meet twice a month. And eventually it evolved into meeting every week because we knew that we needed to lean on each other. And then the last piece of the puzzle here was to advocate for people with cerebral palsy that felt that they didn't have a voice, and to lift up those voices of cerebral palsy and redefining what having cerebral palsy truly means and focusing on what we can do. So we took that, and as we started to come out of the pandemic in mid-2021, I had a choice to make because I was going back to work. I could have given up on the group and been like, that was a fun project. But then we knew that people actually believed in what we were doing. Our numbers started to grow, people started to show up, and people really started to get into these things. And that's where Tanner comes into the story, because he joined in the middle of 2021 after we were established. So I'll let you run from there.
I did. So I came in, and it was just a random thing that I came across as well. I'm like, here, I'll just go to one meeting and then see how it is. Well, one meeting turned into the next meeting and the next meeting and the next meeting, and now this association will not go anywhere as long as I'm here to help it along, because I truly believe in the mission that we're trying to do, which is give adults with CP, and even parents with kids with CP, a vision for the future of how things are. And so I came in and Caleb was like, hey, came to me one day. He goes, "Do you want to be a member of our board?" I said, I don't even know what the board does. And so he talked me through the board, and now I'm here. So yeah,
It's crazy to me that this has grown into not only group meetings, but now we have a podcast platform.
yes. Can you even imagine, like, 3 years ago, like, hey, I'm doing a podcast in a advocacy group? No. But now we have a podcast, and
That's a good point that you bring up. If I was asked by anybody 3 years ago, after that first meeting in June, if I really thought that this idea had legs, I would have said it's something I'm doing to get through the pandemic.
yep.
I never intended it to be part of my life's work and my mission. I thought it was just something that was fun for me to do. So that's really how this whole thing got started. We've hit some bumps and bruises. Everybody takes their lumps when they're trying to do this, and I really credit everyone around me in this group that gave me an opportunity to hear what I had to say and my thoughts on cerebral palsy, and people started to buy in and believe. And it really was a crazy, crazy kind of thing where I don't know, I'm getting a little emotional just thinking about it. Uh, it it really took on a life of its own. I had this grandiose kind of idea in my head after I knew we weren't going away, of understanding the very important people in the independent living movement, especially people like Kenneth Jernigan and Dr. Jacobus Tenbrook, who were leaders in the 50s, 60s, all the way into the 80s as they began their journey with the National Federation of the Blind. And if you haven't read anything about Jacobus Tenbrook, he was a young man from Chicago that went blind at the age of 9. And he still went on to lead a very fulfilling life and eventually became an orthopedic surgeon and was vice president of the National Federation of the Blind. And Kenneth Jernigan was the founder of the National Federation of the Blind. He was a blind educator. And I never wanted to put myself into those shoes. Those are people that I look up to. Ed Roberts, I can name them all off. Judy Holman. I never wanted to be those people. I wanted to honor those people by carving out our own path. And as I went through it and I was trying to, God, as I was trying to piece this all together, because it's a crazy, crazy kind of story. I was trying to make friends. I never thought we would actually make an impact on people the way we have.
Yes, we have.
And so every time that we have some kind of issue inside the association that might make me want to quit or question what we're doing, I always go back to what Kenneth Jernigan said when he founded National Federation of the Blind. When he started to advocate on a higher level, that it's highly desirable to avoid conflict. We want no strife or confrontation, but we will do what we have to do to get through it. And that's kind of how we've made this thing happen. Was through a lot of belief in our people, in each other. Wow, I didn't think I was going to get this emotional. But having somebody in the same room in a similar situation say, what you're doing is worthwhile, I never thought that those words would come out of their mouth in terms of this project.
Yes. And I feel that many people who are part of the association say that too, that we're making an impact. And it really does mean a lot to us that people believe in what we have to say and how we run it on a day-to-day basis.
You know, we have members in 11 different states.
Yep.
That's crazy that we've been able to shrink the map like that. And I don't really think of it on that grand scale that everybody wants to put it on, because I'm never going to put myself in the same conversation as Kenneth Jernigan or Dr. Tenbrook or Judy Holman. I'll repeat that, I'm never going to be those people. Those people have inspired me to do what I've done, and I've been able to have an impact on people. But that's a pedestal I will not put myself on or allow other people to put me on, or any of us.
Yeah. And now is a good time to thank our partners.
Yes, the great people at Giraffe Bottle. Summer is approaching, and the rising temperatures around the country means hydration is more important than ever. A Giraffe Bottle hands-free hydration system is an easy way to stay hydrated, beat the heat this summer, and purchase a Giraffe Bottle Tower Bundle starting at $57 at giraffebottle.com. That is Giraffe Bottle, like the animal.com. The Tower Bundle includes a 24-ounce giraffe bottle with a stainless steel wheelchair mount and a 15-inch neck straw. The Giraffe Bottle assisted hydration technology is designed to be flexible and easy to use for people of all abilities, with accessories available to mount wherever needed. Giraffe Bottle solutions are great for your wheelchairs, your desk, your bed, your walker, and many, many more. It is a great way to stay hydrated, hands-free, on the go, allowing you to make summer memories without the stress of a traditional water bottle system. Free shipping on all orders over $100 at giraffebottle.com. Again, that is giraffe, like the animal bottle.com. Thank you to Giraffe Bottle for sponsoring the chat line. Now let's get back to the conversation. Yeah, I don't want to be on that level, right? I feel like this group has had an impact in its small little area of the world. And
we're always looking to grow and see who else we can impact. And
that's a great point. There's no use in looking back on yesterday when today is a gift and tomorrow's a mystery, right? So we really want to focus in this year on growing and being more transparent in what we're doing as a leadership team. We've set up a Google Drive for all of our documentation. It basically runs through our entire 3-year history. All of our past meetings will be available online through our Facebook page and our website, which I'll link both of those into the podcast description. And we really want to get more and more people involved in this. Again, we don't do it for ourselves. We don't do it for our health. We do it because we enjoy it. And we feel the people that do come to meeting really enjoy this. So if you're interested in joining us, again, you can send an email to our email that you contact the show. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll link those in the bio as well. And I don't know, Tanner, what is your goal for this year?
my is to just see who else we can help and be a be, get our name out there and be a bigger voice for the disability community. So
I think we've done a good job of distinguishing ourselves in the space of Facebook groups. Because, yes, we started on Facebook, but again, like I've said in past episodes, it was just a tool. It was never meant to be solely on Facebook. And that's important for me to come out and say that out loud, is the real true power of this group is in our people and getting to see our people face to face, even if it's through a computer screen. So,
and I believe that this podcast also is getting our message out there even further, because we're getting people listening that don't even really know what this association is, but now that they've listened to 12 of our episodes, they are getting more involved and more interested in what we do.
and that's the super exciting thing, right? We have things like this. We have the YouTube channel. We have the Spotify. We have all that stuff as well. We've really evolved and adapted. Because again, if you don't adapt, you die. And that's no more true than in this space. So it really comes back to that. And we do have some really amazing people that really believe in what we're doing. And it's more than I could have asked for 3 years ago. It's much more than I could have asked for 3 years ago. It's this association just personally has taken me on a journey, not only metaphorically and personally through growth, but I've also gone to states I never really would have ever thought about going to. I've met people that I never would have met in my normal everyday life. And that's, again, the power of the people of this group is if you come and you put in the work, you get out of the group what you put into it. I always say that. But you're really going to find a home. And I'm really happy that we are able as an association to help people find their voice.
Yes.
And find a space to operate.
And that is what we envisioned for the association. So
I might have to put the sad Hulk music behind my little soliloquy there in the middle.
Well, every episode can be different from the other episode, so we're fine.
They take on a life of their own, really.
Yes.
And we're really excited to go into 2023, 2024. We have some exciting announcements for our meeting on Tuesday. So that's Tuesday, May 30th, if you're listening to this when it comes out. If not, of course, that meeting will be available on the Facebook page. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this wherever you are, however you are joining us, wherever you're joining us. Thank you for making us part of your week. And I think it's time for us to get out of here before I start crying. So Tanner, you can go ahead and start.
All right. If you would like to listen to the previous episodes or the future episodes of this podcast, you can find it on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and on YouTube as well. So if you want to see video, it's on YouTube. Audio is everywhere that I just mentioned. So don't forget to subscribe and leave a review for the podcast if you could be so kind.
It does help us in the algorithm. So if you could be so kind to leave a comment. If you want to get in contact with us, again, there's our email, which is NAACPAchair@gmail.com. That's NAACPAchair@gmail.com. Our Facebook will be in the podcast description as well. My personal Twitter will be in there. Your Instagram will be in the podcast description, Tanner. And we will see you next week in the next episode.